Shabbat Shalom. Today is February 21st, and today's Torah portion is going to be Trumah. It means heave offering. It has just been a really long week for me. I've been preparing to go to a conference in Alabama and for Grindstone, and there's just been a lot of preparation, a lot of things going on the back end of Grindstone after coming back from deployment. But sorry, Zelig is having a bit of a moment today. He got a new toy, and I won't let him play with it right now because it's very noisy. But go lay down. The reading this week is from Exodus, starting in verse 25, or in chapter 25, verse 1, going through chapter 27, verse 19, and that starts on page 83. And then we'll jump and do a couple of verses in chapter 30, verses 11 through 16. Then we're going to go to 1 Kings, chapter 5, verse 12, going through chapter 6, verse 13, page 353. And then Hebrews, chapter 8, verses 1 through 6. No. But starting on page 83, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, that they take up a contribution for me. From everyone whose heart moves him, you shall take up my contribution. And this is the contribution which you shall take from them: gold and silver and bronze, and blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram's skin dyed red, and fine leather, and acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, shoham stones, and stones to be set in the shoulder garments and in the breastplate. And they shall make me a set-apart place, and I shall dwell in their midst. According to all that I show you, the pattern of the dwelling place and the pattern of all its furnishings, make it exactly so. And they shall make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. And you shall overlay it with clean gold, inside and outside you shall overlay, and you shall make it a molding of gold all around. And you shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them on the 4 corners, 2 rings on one side, and 2 rings on the other side. And you shall make poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, and shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark, to lift up the ark by them. The poles are in the rings of the ark, they are not taken from it. And into the ark you shall put a witness, which I give you. And you shall make a lid of atonement of clean gold, 2.5 cubits long, and 1.5 cubits wide. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold. Make them of beaten work at the 2 ends of the lid of atonement. And make 1 cherubim at one end, and the other cherubim at the other end. Make the cherubim from the lid of atonement at its 2 ends. And the cherubim shall be spreading out their wings above, covering the lid of atonement with their wings, with their faces toward each other, the faces of the cherubim turned toward the lid of atonement. And you shall put the lid of atonement on top of the ark, and put into the ark the witness which I give you. And I shall meet you there, and from above the lid of atonement, from between the two cherubim which are on the ark of the witness, I shall speak to you all which I command you concerning the children of Israel. And you shall make a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. And you shall overlay it with clean gold, and shall make a molding of gold all around, and shall make for it a rim of a handbreadth all around, and shall make a gold molding for the rim all around. And you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings on the 4 corners that are on the 4 legs. The rings are close to the rim, as holders for the poles to lift the table. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, and the table shall be lifted with them. And you shall make the dishes, and its ladles, and its jars, and its bowls for pouring. Make them of clean gold. And you shall put the showbread on the table before me continually. And you shall make a lampstand of clean gold. The lampstand is made of beaten work. Its base and its shaft, its cups, its ornamental knobs and blossoms are from it. And 6 branches shall come out of its side, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. 3 cups made like almond flowers on one branch, with ornamental knob and blossom, and 3 cups made like almond flowers on the other branch, with ornamental knob and blossom. So for the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. And on the lampstand itself are 4 cups made like almond flowers, with ornamental knob and blossom. And the knob under the first 2 branches of the same, and the knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches are of the same. All of it one beaten work of clean gold. And you shall make 7 lamps for it. And you shall mount its lamps so that it gives light in front of it. And its snuffers and their trays are of clean gold. It is made of a talent of clean gold with all its utensils. So see and do according to the pattern which was shown to you on the mountain. And make the dwelling place with 10 curtains of fine woven linen, with blue and purple and scarlet material. Make them with cherubim, the work of a skilled workman. The length of each curtain is 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits, all the curtains having one measure. 5 curtains are joined to each other, and 5 curtains are joined to each other. And you shall make loops of blue on the edge of the end of curtain on one set, and do the same on the edge of the end curtain on the second set. Make 50 loops in the one curtain, and make 50 loops on the edge of the end curtain of the second set, the loops being opposite to each other. And you shall make 50 hooks of gold, and shall join the curtains together with the hooks, and the dwelling place shall be one. And you shall make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the dwelling place. Make 11 curtains. The length of each curtain is 30 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. One measure to the 11 curtains. And you shall join the 5 curtains by themselves, and the 6 curtains by themselves. And you shall double over the 6 curtains at the front of the tent. And you shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in one set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain of the second set. And you shall make 50 bronze hooks, and put the hooks into the loops, and join the tent together, and it shall be one. And the overlapping part of the rest of the curtain of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the dwelling place. And a cubit on one side, and a cubit on the other side, of what remains of the length of the curtain of the tents, is to hang over the sides of the dwelling place, on this side and on that side, to cover it. And you shall make a covering of ram skin dyed red for the tent, and a covering of fine leather above that. And for the dwelling place you shall make a board of acacia wood, standing up. 10 cubits is the length of the board, and a cubit and a half for the width of each board. 2 tenons on each board for binding one to another. Do the same for all the boards of the dwelling place. And you shall make the boards for the dwelling place, 20 boards for the south side, and make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under each board for its 2 tenons. And for the second side of the dwelling place on the north side, 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under each of the boards. And for the extreme parts of the dwelling place westward, make 6 boards, and make 2 boards for the 2 back corners of the dwelling place. And they are double beneath the similarly, they are complete to the top, to the one ring. So it is for both of them. They are for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under the one board, and 2 sockets under the other board. And you shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards on one side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards on the other side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the dwelling place, for the extreme parts westward, with the middle bar in the midst of the boards, going through from end to end. And overlay these boards with gold, and make the rings of gold as holders for the bars. And overlay the bars with gold, and you shall raise up the dwelling place according to its pattern, which you were shown on the mountain. And you shall make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen, the work of a skilled workman, made with cherubim. And you shall put it on the 4 columns of acacia wood, overlaid with gold, their hooks of gold upon 4 sockets of silver. And you shall hang the veil from the hooks, and shall bring the ark of the witness there, behind the veil. And the veil shall make a separation for you between the set apart and the most set apart place. And you shall put the lid of atonement upon the ark of the witness in the most set apart place. And you shall set the table outside the veil, and the lampstand opposite the table on the side of the dwelling place toward the south, and put the table on the north side. And you shall make a covering for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen made by a weaver. And you shall make for the covering 5 columns of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, their hooks of gold, and you shall cast 5 sockets of bronze for them. And you shall make a slaughter place of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The slaughter place is square, and its height 3 cubits. And you shall make its horns on its 4 corners. Its horns are of the same, and you shall overlay it with bronze. And you shall make its pots to receive its ashes, and its shovels, its basins, its forks, and its fire holders. Make all its utensils of bronze. And you shall make a grating for it, a bronze network, and shall make on the network 4 bronze rings as its 4 corners, and shall put it under the rim of the slaughter place beneath, so that the network is halfway up the slaughter place. And you shall make poles for the slaughter place, poles of acacia wood, and shall overlay them with bronze. And the poles shall be put in the rings. And the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the slaughter place for lifting it. Make it hollow with boards. And it was shown, as it was shown to you on the mountain, so they are to make it. And you shall make the courtyard of the dwelling place for the south side screens for the courtyard made of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long for one side. And its 20 columns and their 20 sockets of bronze, and hooks of the columns and their bands of silver. And so for the north side in length, screens 100 cubits long, with its 20 columns and its 20 sockets of bronze, and with the hooks of the columns and the bands of silver. And the width of the courtyard on the west side screen of 50 cubits, with their 10 columns and their 10 sockets. And the width of the courtyard on the east side, 50 cubits. And the screens on one side of the gate, 50 cubits, and their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. And on the south side, screens of 50 cubits, with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. And for the gate of the courtyard, a covering 20 cubits long of blue and purple and scarlet material. Zelig, stop. Sorry. And for the gate of the courtyard, a covering 20 cubits long of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen made by a weaver, 4 columns and 4 sockets. All the columns around the courtyard have bands of silver, their hooks silver and their sockets bronze. The length of the courtyard is 100 cubits, and the width 50 by 50, and the height 5 cubits, woven of fine linen thread, and its sockets of bronze. All the utensils in the dwelling place for all its services, all its pegs, and all the pegs of the courtyard are bronze. You know, as I'm turning to chapter 30, verse 11, over on page 90, I was curious about all the different materials. And of course, we all know the gold is royalty. But I was curious as to why bronze. And I found out it's because it's of its antimicrobial benefits. You know, the sacrifices were all made there, and you know, the set apart place needed to be able to be kept clean. And the bronze would be able to do that. The fire wouldn't melt the bronze, and it would stay, free from mold. It fascinates me how in every detail that God gives us in life through, everything in His Word. He gives us the details for a reason. And so often we just pass over the details thinking, it's nothing. It's just, just repetitive and there's nothing to it. But there really is. God is a God of detail, and He loves us enough to give us all those little things that if we actually listen and follow what Yah tells us, that He always has our best interest at heart. He's always there for us. Go lay down. Okay, this is what He's after. And He's going to absolutely drive us crazy if I give it to Him. So I'm not. But bear with us as He tries to hunt for it. No, go lay down. Lay down. But it's going to chapter 30, verses 11 through 16. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, when you take the census of the children of Israel to register them, then each one shall give an atonement for his life to Yahweh, and you shall register them so that there is no plague among them when you register them. Everyone among those who are registered is to give this, half a shekel, according to the shekel of the set-apart place, 20 gerah, being a shekel. The half shekel is the contribution to Yahweh. Everyone passing over to be registered from 20 years old and above gives a contribution to Yahweh. The rich does not give more, and the poor does not give less than half a shekel. When you give a contribution to Yahweh, you make atonement for yourself. And you shall take the silver for the atonement from the children of Israel and give it for the service of the tent of appointment. And it shall be to the children of Israel for a remembrance before Yahweh to make atonement for yourselves. We're going to go now to 1 Kings chapter 5, starting in verse 12, going through chapter 6, verse 13. And that's going to be on page 353. And Yahweh gave Shlomo wisdom, as He promised him. And there was peace between Hiram and Shalomah. And the two of them made a covenant. And sovereign Shalomo raised up compulsory labor out of all Israel, and the compulsory labor was 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 per new moon by courses. They were 1 new moon in Lebanon, 2 new moons at home. And Adoniram was over the compulsory labor. And Shalomo had 70,000 bearing burdens and 80,000 hewing stones in the mountain, besides 3,300 from the chiefs of it's Solomon. I always stumble over the Hebrew pronunciation. Chiefs of Solomon's deputies who were over the work, those ruling over the people who labored in the work. And the sovereign commanded, and they brought large stones, precious stones, to lay the foundation of the house with hewn stone. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders and the men of Gebal did hew and prepared timbers and stones to build the house. And it came to be in the 480th year after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, in the 4th year of the reign of Solomon over Israel, in the new moon of Ziv, which is the 2nd new moon, that he began to build the house of Yahweh. And the house which the sovereign Solomon built for Yahweh was 60 cubits long and 60 wide and 30 cubits high. And the porch at the front of the hekal of the house was 20 cubits long, according to the breadth of the house, and its width 10 cubits from the front of the house. And he made for the house windows with narrowed frames, and against the wall of the house he built rooms all around against the walls of the house, and around the hekal and the speaking place. Thus he made side rooms all around. The lowest side room was 5 cubits wide, and the middle one was 6 cubits wide, and the third one 7 cubits wide. For he made narrow ledges around the outside of the house, so as not to lay hold on the walls of the house. And the house, when it was being built, was built with finished stone, made ready beforehand, so that no hammer or chisel or any iron tool was heard in the house while it was being built. The doorway for the middle side room was on the right side of the house, and they went up by stairs to the middle side room, and from the middle to the third. So he built the house and completed it, and he paneled the house with beams and boards of cedar. And he built the side rooms of the structure against all the house, each 5 cubits high, and they were fastened to the house with cedar beams. And the word of Yahweh came to Solomon, saying, This house which you are building, if you walk in my laws and do my right rulings, and shall guard all my commands and walk in them, then I shall confirm my word with you, which I spoke to your father David, and shall dwell in the midst of the children of Israel, and not forsake my people. Every time Yah makes us a promise, I've always noticed he makes that if statement in there. If we walk in his laws, if we do according to his will. He loves Israel. He loves his people. And we mess it up so bad. But he is always so faithful. We pay the consequences, just like through life. We screw up, we pay the consequences of those actions. But no matter what those consequences are that we walk through, he walks through it with us. You know, it's what I love so much about him and how wonderful he is. Everything I go through because I deserve it. But no matter what it is that I walk through, He's always there with me. You know, Psalms 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because thou art with me. No matter what we walk through, he is there with us. Okay, let's move forward. We're going to go to Hebrews now. It is page 1171. It's Hebrews 8, verses 1 through 6. Now, the summary of what we are saying is, we have such a high priest who is seated at the right hand of the throne of the greatness in the heavens, and who serves in the set-apart place and of the true tent which Yahweh set up, and not man. For every high priest is appointed to offer both gifts and slaughters. So it was also necessary for this one to have somewhat to offer. For if indeed he were on earth, he would not be a priest, since there are priests who offer the gifts according to the Torah, who serve a copy and a shadow of the heavenly. As Moshe was warned when he was about to make the tent, for he said, "See that you make all according to the pattern shown you on the mountain." But now he has obtained a more excellent service, inasmuch as he is also mediator of a better covenant, which was constituted on better promises. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Find your rest in him, because he is rest. He is peace. He is comfort. He is joy. Be blessed. Shabbat Shalom.